Welcome to Our Ventura TV. This is Bonnie Rose, and today I'm speaking with Mary O. Kerrigan, who is a coach and an eating addiction expert. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you.
So, Mary, tell us a little bit about what is eating and food addiction?
Well, eating and food addiction is a true addiction. It's when people use eating or use particular kinds of foods to cover up feelings or cover up some kind of discomfort and avoid expressing themselves directly. It's like any other addiction. It's to make you feel comfortable in the moment, but it has some lasting effects.
Wow. Well, I've done that. Have you? Use food
Yeah,
to cover up emotions. Yeah.
and many of us have eating and food addictions and don't know it because it's not been categorized or talked about so much as alcohol or drug addiction.
Oh. So that brings me to the next question: is how is eating addiction, food addiction, different than other addictions?
Well, one of the ways it's different is that you can't fix it or cure it or treat it by pure abstinence. We have to eat, we have to use food. It's the only way we can stay alive. And like other addictions, you can remove yourself from alcohol or drugs. You can remove yourself from gambling, casinos, or other things like that that cause addiction for people. But we have to eat. And so it's very difficult. Other people expect you to eat. Other people want to feed you food, and it's part of our culture to eat at many different times and celebrate or be fix feelings. But it's different because we can't just take care of it by abstaining or not eating.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I hear that. So how do you know, since food is necessary and we all have to eat, how do you know if it really is an addiction or whether it's just needing to eat?
Yeah, well, and that is such a good question because people who don't have this kind of addiction, they eat until they're full and then they stop eating. They may have food on their plate or they don't eat until they're hungry. With food and eating addictions, we eat more than we need to. We get over full. We might get so over full, it's called, we binge, we just keep eating even though we know we're full and we even know that we're feeling kind of sick, but we keep eating. Or it's a particular food that we start craving, a particular food that is, the craving is so strong that we have to have that. We have to go out in the middle of the night to get it at the grocery store, or we have to stock up on it and always be sure we have it in the cupboard. Those kinds of things let us know that we have an addictive quality to our eating or an addictive quality about a particular food that is different. I can give you a quick example. If you're addicted to chocolate and you go to a party and the cake that they're serving for the birthday party is not chocolate, you actually feel angry. The same way as someone with an alcohol addiction will go to a party and then be angry if alcohol isn't being served. So you get these very strong reactions around food and around eating that are out of proportion to just eating because we're hungry and sustaining our lives.
Wow. So I just thought of another question. Can thin people have an eating addiction? Like it doesn't necessarily have to do with weight, or is it?
Yes, that is such a good question.
uh,
Yes, they can be called a high level, high functioning person. They appear healthy. They actually have, their thin bodies or their normal weight. And yet they eat addictively or they eat particular foods addictively, which is really hard on the health. So you can be thin, but it doesn't mean that you're eating at the right time or eating, in terms of appetite. You're not listening to your body. And so it can be very hard on your health, even though you look healthy.
okay. So if somebody is an eating addict, addicted to eating or to food, what are some tools that they can use to address that?
Well, there's ways that you can learn to pay attention. We talk about tools or rules or guidelines. One of them is never let yourself get too hungry.
Hmm.
Um, when we eat because we feel like we're starving or we feel really, really hungry, then we tend to overeat. And another rule is to stop eating when you are not completely full. Now, that is very, very, very hard thing to do, and it takes practice. But it's beginning to listen to your body in a way that is clearly about food and health sustenance instead of food and addiction or feelings. Another thing we can do is to learn how to express our feelings directly, how to identify them, verbalize them. We always say if we can say the feelings, we don't have to put those feelings into action. And so we don't have to act out our uncomfortable feelings. We can talk out our uncomfortable feelings. And that's, again, that takes practice. And it takes a lot of support. Another tool is you can have eating buddies. You go to a party and the two of you agree that you're going to help each other remember to have one plate of food, not three or four servings or three or four plates of food. It helps to have people um, around you that understand you need help in remaining very, very focused and concentrated on what you're actually doing with food and with eating. Another thing is to not have the foods that trigger you in your house. Don't have them available to you.
Mhm.
It's just like we say to people with alcohol addiction, don't go into the bar with your friends. And it's the same thing. Don't have particular foods that you know are going to be the thing you go to and overeat on when you're feeling upset, disappointed, angry, wanting to celebrate, lonely. Any feeling can make you want to eat.
Yeah, those are some great tools. Thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like us to know before we sign off? Anything in particular?
Yeah, I think the thing that's most important is to remember that a lot of these feelings that we've had are maybe old experiences from the past that need help in coming out and resolving. We do know there is a connection between trauma or past hurtful experiences and addiction. And so if you find yourself using food in a way that really isn't healthy or that you feel ashamed of or guilty about, seek help. There are coaches, there are treatment programs, there are places that you can get the help you need to really find a way to manage your food and eating in a healthy, happy, free of addiction way.
Thank you so much, Mary, and I trust that your words will help a lot of people. So thank you again. And to our viewers, thank you for watching Our Ventura TV. I am Bonnie Rose, and I will see you next time. Thank you.